Good lord. Alright, Amara.
But that's alright.
Oh my god! Yo guys, what is up? Max here on Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about Chaos Queen Amara. Now, Chaos Queen Amara has become my most popular and my most viewed video of all time. I absolutely love this build. For those that don't know what Chaos Queen is, it is a phase arc or Amara build that basically focuses on shredding with any single weapon. This is my do-it-all build. Whatever weapon you want to use, it does it. The gear requirements are low, but this thing shreds everything. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys do enjoy it, if you guys learn anything new, if you like the video and the effort that goes into it, I do appreciate hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, and liking the video. It really does help me out. And guys, with that, let's get right into it. So, showing on screen right now is the updated skill tree for Chaos Queen. Now, I will explain the choices and what we're doing with the new points, because this build's actually, it's fairly simple, but there are some changes to skill points that I'll get into in a second. But the first thing that I want to talk about is weapons. Now, this build uses any weapon. Anything under the sun that you guys want to use, it pretty much works well. Obviously, there's some trash tier weapons that I wouldn't recommend using, but with how often you can proc ties that bind with this build, how short our cooldowns are, the weapons that you can use are numerous. Now, I do have some favorites and the best ones. Now, the best weapon that you can use on this build that I've tried that just kind of, it's just ridiculous in almost all situations, is still the Light Show. The Light Show is a heavy hitter, high fire rate pistol that shoots out a ton of damage for single targets. This thing wrecks, and ties that binds this thing wrecks, and it is still, in my opinion, the best weapon. If you are looking for the #1 weapon for this build, I do recommend the Light Show. It's really freaking good. Now, besides the Light Show, some more fun options that I've been really enjoying. #1 is the Blood-Starved Beast. Now, the Blood-Starved Beast is a new SMG. Originally, Chaos Queen is an SMG Amara build, so this thing just fits perfectly. Now, farming for this thing is really hard. It is a drop from Evil Lilith, and I spent 3 hours last night farming one, and I only got one. It's really tough, but it is awesome. The Blood-Starved Beast, I have a video on it, should be up there, but is basically an SMG, high fire rate, that has a chance to proc splash damage. Now, this thing is a lot of fun to use and really fits the theme on this build, so I really like using that. Another weapon that's also awesome is the Hellwalker. The Hellwalker got buffed like crazy. With this build, Amara has crazy fast reload speed, and with ties that bind, you're actually going to be able to phase grasp, shoot this thing, it'll automatically reload the weapon, and when you're reloading, you have crazy fast reload speed, but because you're going to be hitting with ties that bind so often, you could basically just spam the Hellwalker, which is going to be hitting like an ion cannon. Plus, the Hellwalker, pretty sure, doesn't ricochet normally, but with Indiscriminate it does, and just absolutely shreds everything. Really big fan of this. Another cool weapon is the Convergence. Now, I haven't liked the Convergence as much on the other characters, but with Amara and ties that bind, the Convergence has a unique interaction with Indiscriminate that when you shoot it at an enemy, if it procs Indiscriminate, it triggers all of the pellets. So a ×8 Convergence, when you shoot at one enemy, will trigger all of the same pellets, but with more damage on another enemy, and makes this a really, really cool, not the greatest single target, but for clear speed, it's great. The Proprietary License is still really good. The Khaos is still really good. The Beacon, the Gargoyle. You can still use a Hyper Focus. The Monarch is absolutely ridiculous. I've been using the Khaos. That's a really fun weapon to use. The Reflux is still top tier. Even the Rebound works really, really well on this build. For bossing, I'll use Plague Bears, Sandhawks, and Monarchs are probably the best weapons to use. If the enemy is alone and doesn't have adds near them, things like really high-hitting weapons like the Sandhawk, the Plague Bear, Backburner, even sometimes the Hellwalker, and the Light Show will make quick work of pretty much any boss. It's not as fast as the boss kill as Gamebreaker Amara, but it is still good at bossing. Now, for the skill tree and gear, we'll do skill tree first, and then we'll finish up with gear. Skill tree changes, are not many. One of the things that I'd like to point out is that we did put 1 point into Do Harm and 3 into Fast Hands and 1 into Violent Tapestry. Prior to this, I had 4 points into Do Harm. Now, whether you have 4 or 1 points is up to you. Ties That Bind kills everything pretty much. Whenever you grasp and shoot at things, everything is going to die. The one thing that can be a negative about having 4 into Do Harm or 5 into Do Harm is that your bullets are going to kill everything around the enemy before the enemy that is grasped actually dies, and then you're going to be able to, you're losing damage because you're no longer linking damage to them. And when your Ties That Bind ends faster, you have less duration, where your Indiscriminate is going to have a 60% proc chance with only minus 25% damage. So this felt really good, just going to 1 Do Harm. You can obviously go more, but Do Harm and then getting that Fast Hands for that weapon swap speed, because there's so many cool weapons that this build could use. I really do like that change. 1 into Violent Tapestry, 3 into Restless. You could go 5 into Restless. We have so much cooldown already just from the Berserker that this felt fine to me. Transcend, really great accuracy, critical hit. All these other things I've explained many times before, but having Alacrity, Fast Hands, Berserker, all of this damage in Blue Tree with Avatar is awesome. You're going to get so much damage and so much reload speed. Red Tree, pretty much same thing. Wildfire, only 1 point into Infusion. If you want to put more points into Infusion, you can. Infusion hurts splash damage and splash damage anointments, so I don't like it, but having 1 point into Infusion will allow you to use non-elemental weapons if you come across one that you really like. And 2 in Sustainment is honestly a little overkill. You can just go 1, but just for the sake of it and making sure that we never ever go down, which you never go down with 1, I just put 2 points here. There isn't too many great pickups that we could get here. And lastly, for the last 5 points, now you could do a few things with them. I put them in Arms Deal. Splash damage and splash damage weapons on Amara are awesome. They're awesome in Ties That Bind. And one of the new pickups for this build is the Blood-Starved Beast. Having Arms Deal, not only is it going to give us damage reduction, but it's also going to give us increased splash damage. And that increased splash damage for some of the mobbing weapons isn't as important, but for bossing weapons, the Sandhawk does splash damage, Plague Bearers do splash damage, Backburners do splash damage. It's overall just a little bit of a damage increase, which is really, really nice. We're still going Root to Rise and Personal Space. Lastly, for the gear, the Old God is still the go-to. Old Gods are amazing with their increase in elemental damage. That is the main thing we use these for, but you're also going to get elemental damage resistances. I have a bunch that I swap to depending on the situation with matching elements that are just freaking awesome. Grenades, you guys know I never really care about grenades on Amara. Whatever you want to use. Honestly, the best in slot is its Piss. I don't have any at the moment. And then we are still using the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge. I got fire rate and magazine size with our high fire rate weapons. This just works really, really well and is going to give us some of that gun damage that Amara is lacking compared to some of the other characters. Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge is freaking awesome here. Lastly, Berserker. I got rolls into splash damage, weapon damage, Malon accuracy. Not a god roll, but a good roll. The points you're going to be looking for are... it doesn't matter that much. Having points into Clarity is nice. Having some extra points into Conflux is nice. And having some points into Anima is nice. I wouldn't say that there's like a... you need to have a +5 of anything for the Berserker to work. You're mainly just looking for a Berserker. Guys, I know a little bit of short video. I've been very busy, but I wanted to get Chaos Queen out. Next up, I believe we're going to do Zane, either... Shadow Clone Zane or Chain Zane, or if you guys want to see, I got Fire Hose Moze on deck. We got 5G Flak, Falconer Flak, all coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. If you guys did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!